It's all about health, nutrition, wellness, and spirituality, dedicated to helping you navigate the roadmap to a better you. Welcome to Real Talk Live. Here is your host, Jack McAdoo.
What's happening, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year. I've been away.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Yeah, absolutely. Where the sun shines most of the time, Hawaii. But I'm back. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well.
Everything good?
Yeah, doing well. You know, each day has new and unexpected things coming my way.
Oh,
but I'm
absolutely,
just
brother.
trying to do what I can to rise to the challenge.
Trust and believe. Anyway, we have an amazing guest on the show today. I guess I could call her a friend. She's not my enemy. But
you may.
You see how she is. Doesn't wait for the cue. No, she's great. She's absolutely amazing. She's been all over the air lately, from The View to Good Morning America to Dr. Oz to I'm waiting for Oprah and everything else, and she will be. She is the ABC's chief medical correspondent, who's also on Good Morning America. She's a practicing OB-GYN physician as well. And I want to welcome Dr. Jennifer Ashton to the show.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
The delay. How you been?
I know.
You doing good?
I've been busy but good.
No
good.
doubt. Your book is like #1 on Amazon of new releases. You're #1 on a new release on New York Times. I saw that this morning.
I am?
Yes, as a new release. You're not like, you see her. She's like, ooh. I saw it. I Googled it and it showed up. Absolutely. It's because we told everybody she's coming on the show.
Yep.
Totally.
No, okay.
Oh, my God. Well, Jack, you just broke news. That's breaking news.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was on Google this morning. I did Google New York Times, and then there was nothing there. The top. I know it's early. You will be. And then I went into their new releases stuff, and you came out on top there. So you're on top on the search. So, there it is. I've got mine.
Oh, man.
Wow. Oh, my God.
I've got mine
so
too, but mine's on
excited.
Kindle.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered it.
That's all
Kindle.
right.
It's available on Kindle.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into this a little bit with you. I think it's an amazing book.
Okay.
I've be honest, I've read most of it, and it's absolutely amazing. And I know from looking at some stuff, you didn't start out writing this thing, did you? This just kind of happened?
No, hell no. I will share with your listeners kind of like the inside perspective on the world of books.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all you think it looks like, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. This is my 5th book, the
Right.
4th one that I did totally, the other one I was just kind of like a part of.
Right.
And I'm thrilled that I can say that I'm a published author, and I love it when people say they've read my books and it helped them or they like them. That's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much work. And by the time the book comes out, you're kind of over it.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like hearing your own voice. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, enough already.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to promote the book because you have to tell people about it. And by this time in the game for me,
Right.
I tend to have a little bit of a negative dialogue with myself. And so I'll be like, no, whatever. It's not that great. Whatever. I'm like a real type A person.
Sure.
And so this book, you called it, Jack, when I gave you the galley, then I got you like the hard copy.
Right.
When it was just out, and you said, Jen, this book is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And I just thought you were being nice. I was like, no. But it has blown me away in terms of its success so far and
Mm-hmm.
how excited people are to try it.
Right.
And so that's just everything to me. It makes me so happy.
I'm glad to see it happening. Yes, I was sitting in that office right there, and I
That's
got the
right.
book. Yeah, and I said, "This is what people are hungry for. This is absolutely amazing." And you were able to break it down in 12 months, and I got into it, and it's just wow. And you told me kind of how it happened. You just fell into it, needed some changes for yourself, and here it is. And it's booming. You're everywhere
Yeah.
promoting it, but it's booming. People are enjoying it. I've seen some of the reviews, and it's working. And it's I know you have it spread out like a 12-step program
Kind of, yeah.
with challenges, which makes it cool. But I can see people, even for myself, taking one of these challenges like in April and using it
Hmm.
in January.
Sure.
But you have to read the whole book first.
Totally.
But yeah,
Right.
this is great for
Correct.
you.
Absolutely.
And as far as being the author, like you were saying, it's everything. I'm writing now, as you know, and everyone was telling me the same thing. Jack, you got to go out and promote it. You got to do this. You got to do this. Because I have Think It, Believe It, Manifest It, that book. And it's
Hmm.
and the stuff you have to do, it's just not you appear on all these shows or get reviews. There's a lot of work behind it.
Right.
And you're doing an
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
job.
Well, I'm just thrilled that people are really into it. And, as you kind of just touched on, the type of person I am, and I'm not just saying the professional me, the personal me,
Hmm.
is I I really would describe myself as having an open mind and a curious mind.
Sure.
And I think that in life, just like in science and in medicine and in health and wellness, you sometimes you don't know how you're going to feel or what you're going to get unless you try something personally.
Hmm.
And so for me, as long as it's not risky, I
Right.
love being the lab rat. I love being the guinea pig. That to me is like that's where the fun is.
Sure.
And so that's how it started for me is I wanted to say like, okay, if I did a dry month, for
Hmm.
example, and this is just for, according to the NIH, they're all about dry month experimentation or
Hmm.
or that trend, because it kind of allows people to reevaluate their behavior and their relationship with social alcohol use.
Hmm.
And I hadn't done a dry month since I was pregnant when I did a dry 9 months,
Right.
and that baby is now a freshman in college. So I was
Yes.
like, I was literally curious. I told you about it. I was
Hmm.
curious how I would feel. Would it be hard? Would I see a difference? Would I feel a
Right.
difference? All those questions. And so that is like the underlying premise behind the book is
Hmm.
be curious, try something,
Hmm.
see how you do with it. It doesn't require perfection. It's about the process, not the product.
Hmm.
And it was kind of fun for me to try to come up with 12 different health challenges for myself
Right.
that I didn't already do and that I mean my criteria list was kind of interesting, Jack. I said, okay, I want this to be cheap,
Right.
fast, relatively easy. And I don't mean in the effort required, I
Sure.
mean like in the execution.
Hmm.
I want it to be something that I could potentially wind up incorporating into my day to day or almost daily habits. And I wanted there to be zero barrier to entry. In other words, like if a elite athlete read
Hmm.
it, they could try it. If someone who's a couch potato read it, they could try it, and everyone in between. And so it wasn't so easy for me to come up with what the 12 challenges would be. But when I did, I really did kind of embark upon them like, okay, I'm excited. I'm going to see how this will go. I'm not
Right.
having any ideas about whether it's going to be hard or easy. I'm just going to go in with an open mind. And a lot of them for me, A, became habits,
Hmm.
which is crazy, right? Because it's like you can teach an old dog new tricks. And B, I felt and I saw and felt a difference in myself, which is so cool, right?
Right.
When you think about it.
Hmm.
So it was fun and I learned a lot during the whole thing.
I enjoyed, again, reading it, and there's so many things that I'm able to implement in my daily routine. Some of the things I already do, but
Hmm.
by reading it, it's allowed me to enhance some of the things uh, that
Good.
that I do. For instance, you have where is it? Where is it? In May, less meat, more plants, and it's interesting. I've gone more to a vegan diet.
Hmm.
Nice.
I cannot
Hmm.
say I'm full because I went home to Hawaii and enjoyed.
Right. Sure. Of
but
course.
but for the most part, I have been vegan and I cut out all dairy. I don't do dairy now. and plant-based, and implementing some of the things that you talked about, you know, the overconsumption of meat and things like that. And I just feel amazing, literally
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I've lost weight,
Yeah.
which I needed to do. And
Good for you.
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And it's just, I have a way to go. But some of these things that you were talking about, because you do break it down. You talk about taking extra steps. It's on page 145 of your book. Talk about taking more steps, more walks. And I find myself doing that. You know, well, I could walk this way on a sidewalk where there's steps there. I'm going to go up the steps. And I do that.
Right.
And it actually helps a little bit with the cardio and things. But
Sure.
yeah, that's one of the things I noticed. And then the dry month, I don't really drink. I'm serious, but I'll tell you, when I was home for Christmas and New Year's, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I felt it, you know, because I don't drink,
Yeah.
and I felt it. So I guess
Right.
for people that do drink, you know, often, I could see where this would help and change things.
I think for me, what I'm most proud of in the book is that, you know, as a doctor and as a nutritionist and as a medical media person, correspondent, journalist, whatever, I am really sensitive to kind of the current climate. I'm always taking the pulse, so to speak, pardon the pun, of like, what is our society thinking? What are we on the receiving end of? And where am I in all of that? So, for example, when I opened my medical practice 11 years ago, when I designed it, I didn't just design it in this direction as the doctor and nutritionist. I designed it in this direction as what would I want as a patient. And so with
Nice.
that kind of theory in mind, when I wrote this book and I went through the challenges, these 12-month challenges, I I tackled it from both angles. So I said, okay, what are we recommending to people, we in the healthcare world or in the media? And let me look at how I would receive that as a person, right? What am I suggesting? What am I recommending? And how would I receive that? And so that's what I mean when I've been saying, you know, when I've been talking about the book, I turned that lens on myself. And so if I were sitting in my office, and I said, and Dr. Jennifer Ashton asked me, Jen Ashton, tell me about your lifestyle, I would say the following: I sleep great, at least 7 hours a night. I don't smoke. I exercise almost every day, and I eat really, really well. Oh, that sounds really good, right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
then when I turned that lens on myself, coming out of the worst year of my life, which was 2017, when, as you know, we had a massive tragedy hit my family,
Correct.
and my
Yeah.
ex-husband and children's father died by suicide.
Right.
Um, I had spent that entire year trying to put the pieces that had shattered back together again. And I did that on a very macro level. Like, I was looking for big concepts, big things. I had to stabilize, you know, my family's world. I had to continue to be the sole provider for my kids. And then as New Year's came around, I thought, let me take that from the macro to the micro. And so if Dr. Jennifer Ashton were sitting with Jen Ashton and said, tell me about your lifestyle, and I gave that answer, you know, I call it like the flyby answer.
Right.
And then I started with any of these 12 things.
Right.
Guess what? There was room for me to improve all 12 of my monthly challenge issues. And
Wow.
that's when I had that light bulb moment. I was like, wow, you know what? You can go to the gym every day, but still not take enough steps.
Sure.
And I was looked at my phone and I thought, is this a joke? Like, am I literally, I'm going to the gym to lift weights or to do cardio, but I'm not walking
Right.
during my day.
Right.
So every single month, what I picked was something that when I turned that lens on myself, there was room for improvement, including this one,
Right.
the hydration
Water.
one.
Yeah. I need more of that. And I could see that too. I've never thought of that. Even reading the book, I guess. I mean, the story behind it is that, yeah, I guess everything is macro with us, but to put it under a microscope and dive deeper would illuminate a lot of things,
Right.
actually.
Yeah,
Very cool.
exactly.
Very cool. It's just, from the I know the response to the book is amazing. Have you gotten responses to people that are actually implementing the challenges and how it's going?
Yes.
I know we're early into the month, the book just came out, but how is it for some people? I'm sure it's like a light switch.
Totally. And that to me is so much fun. That's
Mm,
where, again, based on the example I just gave, when I hear from people, I don't get excited as Dr. Jennifer Ashton. I get excited as Jen Ashton. Oh my
right.
God, you're doing it too?
Nice.
Let's compare notes. What helped you? What didn't help you? What tricks? What do you have a 13th month challenge? Like that's where I really get excited.
Right.
And to be honest, I feel like a lot of doctors and healthcare professionals are really bad at that, Jack. Like
Oh,
we
absolutely.
just look at things from like this view. Like
Right.
I'm going to tell you as doctor, I'm going to tell you as nutritionist, and we forget how we would respond as people. And to me, that is the most fun thing so far. So I've been hearing from people on my Instagram,
Hmm.
which is at DRG Ashton, by the way, of people saying, I got the book. I'm 10 days into dry January. I'm feeling amazing. I can't wait to do the whole month. And that to me is just like, it's everything.
Boom. That's the reason for the book.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, yes, you've reached so many. It's absolutely amazing, and I hope other physicians look at this book as well. Because as you said, you go into
I hope so.
I mean, my physician is great. I mean, we laugh, we joke. I'm serious. We have a ton of fun. My surgeon was the same way. We became friends and just hung
Hmm.
out, laughed. She wants to know everything behind the health, and it's amazing. So I
Hmm.
hope other physicians will pick up this book and read it and maybe
I
treat
hope so.
treat their patients, a little bit better and understand some of the things a little bit better. December. I was looking at December and it's laughter.
Mm.
Everyone that knows me knows that's
Mm.
all I do.
Just invite Jack over.
Just invite me over. You can
I love it.
hire me for parties. If you're feeling down, I will come in and sit on the couch and just laugh at you.
Good.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. I cannot have a day without laughing or lifting someone. I feel that that's my purpose in life. That's one of the purposes in
Hmm.
life for me is to bring laughter into people, no matter what it is, to show you how you can laugh at what's going on. And you talk about some of those things too. Just incorporate laughter in how to make you feel, how to make someone else feel. And yeah, I hit on that one great. That was a challenge. It's like, okay, I got
Huge.
that one. I got that one in the book. Thomas
That's
did some.
awesome.
Thomas did some. He went out and got the book.
Yeah.
What you learn?
Well, I've started meditation, and
Nice.
initially I set a timer for 23 minutes, and I'm thinking it's going to take me a few minutes to get into this. I need to have just a little extra time,
Okay.
but I literally had no difficulty at all. I found myself immediately kind of in the zone, and the time just flew by.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when I
And
did it,
and how's the rest of your day feel, Thomas, when you meditate?
so much more focused, so much more focused. And
Yeah.
then, in fact, the second day when I did it, was just enjoying it so much that when my little timer alerted me to the fact that the time was up, I didn't want to really step away because it was just that
It's amazing.
refreshing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we try to meditate around here. I talk about that on the show, and he's doing it. And there's a change.
So great.
He's lifted it.
It's so great.
I got to ask you one thing too, because you talk about in August the mindful tech. For
Hmm.
someone in your position who's everywhere, I mean, you have the daughters in hockey, you have all this stuff that you're doing, and you run here. Where's she's here? What? She's in her
Yeah.
car here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else? Good Morning America. So you do that, and anything happens in medical, like cancer was just going down.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you had to research that. How do you stay away from this?
Yeah. Oh, God. When so there's so many interesting things about this month's challenge, Jack. First of all, let's start with my kids. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter, Chloe, who is 20 years old. She's a freshman at Harvard, plays ice hockey for them. She's an elite athlete, Division I athlete. My amazing son, Alex, is 21. He's a senior at Columbia.
Right.
They're very close. Three of us are like this.
Mm-hmm.
Any parent watching and listening, I'm sure this will resonate with them. Our kids teach us I think, more than we teach them, if you're open to it.
Right.
And we hear a lot in the media today about screen time and kids are addicted and this and that. Well, one of my favorite lines is, be careful when you point a finger at someone, because
It's
three are pointing back
right
at
back
you,
at you. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't me lecturing my kids, you're on your screens too much. It was actually like, do as I do, not as I say, and my kid lead by example, whatever kind of saying or ism you want to put on it. My kids said to me, Mom, you are on that thing all the time.
All the time.
And have you ever heard of the term fubbing?
No. Huh.
Okay. All right. This is what happens when
Fubbing.
you have a 20 and a 21-year-old. They called me a fubber, which means that when we're in social settings, like in the car together, out to dinner together, in a store together, I would be on my phone. And by the way, not saving someone's life
Right.
and not answering ABC News email.
Right.
I was like, oh, one of my Instagram followers asked me a question. Let me just answer back.
Right.
My kids were like, put that down. So that's when I realized I had a problem, that I was wasting time, not engaging in the moment as much as I could be or should be. I was setting a poor example. I mean, I literally was like, what am I doing? I would walk in Manhattan. You and I walked down the street of ABC Studios together.
Right. Yeah.
I would walk down that street. That's dumb and dangerous.
Until you come
And
up
I
to
would
the
do
light.
that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
So when I did the Mindful Tech Challenge,
Mhm.
you are 100% right. I had to figure out a way. I can't, being a full-time doctor, full-time chief medical correspondent for the largest media company in the world, I
Right.
can't go off the grid.
Absolutely.
I can't. That's not my reality.
Right.
But what I could do is not have my phone in my hand when I'm walking down the street, not have my phone on the table when I'm having a social meal,
Right.
not look at my phone when I'm in the car with people, not driving, of course, especially not driving,
Right.
just be in the moment. So in other words, consolidate the discrete times where I could check my device, could answer back my Instagram followers, the nice ones, because I don't answer back the haters.
Right.
And
Either do
and
I.
it really, yeah, it was hard for me. But when I came out of that month, I really, really saw a difference, and I had made real progress, which it was not easy, but it was really needed.
I guess, you know how they say when you plan for your day, some people, I do this, I'll do emails in the morning, and then once again in the afternoon, you block off time. I guess you could do that with your phone, and someone in your position. With mine too, with the studio, with the company and everything else, I have to find, I'm on it a lot. And and I have to use social media for the type of media that I do.
Sure.
But I've limited like Facebook to do, something uplifting in the morning, and then again to stream the show. And then I'll stay off. I'm not, I don't have the time to go and fool around with it anymore. But I guess you could start doing that to know that, okay, look, with an iPhone, you can actually go on and look at your screen time and see where you were. So if you're spending way too much time on social media, put it away, put it in your pocket, leave it alone. This hour, I'm not doing it. How is it for your kids? This would be interesting for your kids. Have they started doing these challenges?
Well, they did a lot of the challenges with me.
Okay.
And I would say, as a parent and as, all my other hats, that these challenges could be morphed to be done by teenagers, middle school kids. I mean, there's really nothing in there that's like, oh, you have to be 18 to do this challenge. Well, obviously the dry month, you should be over 18, but, but yeah, my kids got really into it. And for example, they both ate pretty well before this challenge, but they ate even better after, when I did the less meat, more color, like more plants.
Sure.
That helped. Water hydration challenge, that helped them. Meditation challenge helped them. sleep. I mean, literally a lot of them. I mean, I
Everything,
could just
yeah.
keep going on and on. And so that was also an unexpected perk. I think for anyone, whether it's your spouse, your partner, your work colleagues, your
Mhm.
kids, sometimes we forget that we can really inspire people by what we do and
Mhm.
what we're going through. And, I think it's so easy to feel like so alone in today's world. And I didn't, as I started this conversation with you, Jack, sometimes I forget that other people really are paying attention,
Sure.
and even my kids. So
Absolutely.
when they started doing these things, I got really, really excited. And
Mhm.
and everyone, I think, has to understand how powerful they can be and inspiring and motivating
Mhm.
people around you. You might not ever even dream how much you've helped someone.
Absolutely. And with this show, what Thomas and I do too is, we talk about things that we wish we could get into the curriculum, high school, things like that,
Mhm.
Yeah,
because there's so much missing. We teach math and science and things like that, but we don't teach life.
Right.
And
that's
in
right.
my opinion,
Yep.
this would probably be one of the best books to get into high school.
Yay! Put in the curriculum.
Absolutely. You know, it really could. Back home in Hawaii, I'm actually working with someone there about speaking to kids in all the high schools there, and I think this would be a good pitch as well because there's
Oh,
there's things in
thanks.
here
Well, you
that
have my permission to use it as your syllabus.
okay, and I think it would work. Um, especially with tech and mindfulness, just total mindfulness and meditation and hydration. Kids don't think about that. They're going,
Nope.
and they don't care about what they put in. But if they can learn now,
Hmm.
it's perfect. It's perfect. And,
Totally.
and the show goes around the world too. And I think it's the same way there in Europe. They have the same things that we're going through, and I think it would
Yeah.
work for them because
Oh, for
I know
sure.
in Paris, a friend of mine this morning is in Paris. Two of our friends are actually in Paris, and one of them,
Bonjour.
yeah, and one of them, I saw he was doing I don't know, an Instagram live thing, and I'm looking at everybody behind them, and they're on their phones. I'm looking at him because he's doing something
Uh,
for his page, but in the back,
hmm.
everyone was on their phones, and it's crazy. So this book is international. Speaking of, I've got to
Wow.
say, there's some people on here saying hi on social media to you. Lisa Long is saying, I love Dr. She's saying, hi, Dr. Ashton.
Oh my God. Hi,
Mahalo.
Lisa.
Kenny Raymond is saying, I love Dr. Ashton's episode with Talinda Bennington.
Oh wow. Yes, yes.
Uh,
On suicide and
okay.
life after suicide. Wow. Thank
Yes.
you.
I have that book right here, by the way, Life After
Oh my
Suicide.
God,
Yes.
Jack. Oh my God, you're amazing. Can
Absolutely.
I say something quickly about Talinda and that book?
Yes, please.
Um, your listeners might not know. Well, I mean, I said it before, but if you're just tuning in, um, obviously, most people are aware that we have a major suicide epidemic, unfortunately, now in the United States, more so than in other countries, but suicide doesn't discriminate. It's all over the world.
Mhm.
And I, as a doctor, knew a little bit about it. Unfortunately, I had lost a couple of friends,
Mhm.
three to be precise, to suicide. But in February of 2017, as I said, my ex husband and my children's father um, died by suicide
Mhm.
out of the blue. He was
Mhm.
a doctor. It was 2 weeks after our very amicable divorce. We were texting the day before. He lived across the street, and some of your viewers might also be aware that Talinda Bennington's husband, Chester Bennington, who was the lead singer of the blockbuster global band Linkin Park,
Mhm.
also died of suicide around the
Mhm.
same time. And Talinda and I were introduced to each other when we participated in a global mental health summit in London,
Mhm.
called giveanhour.org, changedirection.org. And who would have thought the model wife of a rock star and a doctor
Yeah.
would become friends and would come together over this issue of
Through a tragic event.
suicide
Yeah.
prevention? Yeah,
Yeah.
through tragedy, but
Mhm.
to increase awareness about mental illness, to destigmatize suicide, to help the survivors who are left behind.
Mhm.
And when I wrote my book, Life After Suicide, which you are kind enough to have there, I forgot that you had it. I don't even know if I knew that you had it. It was really unlike anything that I had ever done before, because it's easier for me to be the one giving the help than receiving the help.
Mhm.
And a lot of my voice in that book is about having the courage and the security around you and within yourself to ask for help when you need it. And sometimes that's the person struggling, but sometimes that's the person affected by suicide. And Talinda Bennington has been an amazing advocate for that. And she
Mhm.
and I have subsequently done several events together.
Mhm.
But listen, it's something that unfortunately now suicide is like cancer.
Yeah.
And when we used to say everyone will know someone who's lived
Yeah.
with or battling or survived or died from cancer,
Mhm.
now unfortunately suicide is the same.
You're right.
If it doesn't affect you personally,
Mhm.
you will know someone very close to you for whom it does affect them. So thank you for letting me discuss it, and
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thank that viewer for
Yeah,
realizing and
Kenny
being a
Raymond,
fan of
yes.
Talinda's.
Absolutely. Yeah, with me, it struck close to home as well in two different ways. One way I won't discuss here. But another way, I was young and living in Hawaii, and my brother had and his wife were going through some things, and she called me and just to say hello. She wanted to let me know that she loved me, just kind of a normal phone call. But it was a little strange because of the tone of her voice. And then I said goodbye, love you too. And then the next thing I knew, I got a phone call the next day that they found her, and she shotgunned the whole bit. And so it was traumatic, of
I'm so
course, for
sorry,
my
Jack.
brother and for us. She was loved and very young too, and it's a shame what it does to people. Uh, I know with you in your book, you talked about how it was how the personal trauma worked with your family and how tight you guys were, and how that you
Hmm.
still had an amazing relationship with Rob, and
Yeah,
it was a very very tight unit. And then now he's gone. So what you had to do and the way you got through it was you and your kids stuck together and you hit these little milestones, which I thought was
hmm,
was amazing to do.
yeah, yeah,
So you set a small goal and you got there and you kept going there. And it's absolutely
yeah.
amazing. And again, that's another book people should read. Life After
Oh, thank
Suicide.
you.
Yeah, I snatched it
Thank
off
you,
your
Jack.
desk while I was at your office. No, no, I'm kidding.
You're welcome to
You gave it to
it.
me.
Oh,
Uh,
there, good, good.
but yeah, it's an amazing book, and it's interesting. And I know we're switching from one book to another, and I hope you don't mind. But
No, that's okay.
it's interesting because a lot of people go through things and they have that thought, of suicide. It seems like it's a massive
Hmm,
Hmm.
trauma in their
Hmm.
life
hmm,
that's the
hmm.
first thought, and that's scary for our society and who we are.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's the
it is.
first thought. I can't live without this person
Hmm.
because of death, because of a
Right.
relationship breakup, or because of you lost a friend, or whatever it is. That seems to be the first thought. And
Yeah,
that's a shame.
I know.
Talk.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that there's so many different aspects to this problem and it's so complex, but in the book Life After Suicide, and for me and my kids who are really amazing, um I think that partially this was intuitive, and partially it was deliberate and something we learned from professional therapy and worked on consciously. But you know we can't always control the things that happen to us in life. But as my mom
Absolutely.
used to say, one of those momisms, you can control how you respond to it.
Yeah.
And my children and I, they were 17 and 18 when Rob died. The three of us did not want to become angry at the world
Hmm.
or have anger become a secondary tragedy for us, because that's not the type of person Rob was.
Hmm.
That would not honor his spirit.
Hmm.
And it it's a waste of life, actually,
Sure.
in our opinion, to do that. And sometimes you can't control it. So I have nothing, again, no judgment against people who have been through a tragedy and it's
Hmm.
made them angry.
Hmm.
But what I would say to people is, please know that if you're struggling, there's help.
Absolutely.
It will get better. It will get better. And that there is no shame in the game of saying, like, I'm actually not okay. You know, if you had high blood pressure, you probably would have no problem saying, I have
True.
high blood pressure.
Very
Like,
true.
it's not,
Yeah.
and anything above the neck should be the exact same thing. And that's, I know that's my mission. That's my kids' mission.
Sure.
It's to Linda Bennington's mission. I know it's your mission.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that's the important thing here.
Yeah, and for what your family has done, you know, I give it to you guys. I mean, look at your kids. Look where, I mean, you have a hockey player,
I
you know,
know.
a hockey
I
player.
know.
She's killing it.
Yeah. She's a beast.
She's
She's a savage.
beast, you know.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thomas, anything
Yeah.
to add to that, or
Well, actually, I had some questions about
You go ahead.
the other book.
Yeah.
the reason for the show?
Hit
I
me
was-
up, Thomas.
I was
Hit me
just
up.
I was just wondering, as you were going through the challenges, which one did you find the most difficult, and then which one did you find the most beneficial, and were there some surprises for you along the way?
That's such a great question. This is the one I found the most difficult, the hydration challenge.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think, first of all, I've had 3 kidney stones. I know that, listen, our bodies are 2/3 water. They're not 2/3 coffee or soda or juice or anything else. And I'm telling you, I had nowhere to go but up, because there were
Mhm.
days that the only liquids I would consume in 12 hours would be 2 cups of coffee, which, by the way, caffeine works to dehydrate us at baseline. So that tells you how bad I was at baseline. So I could only improve. And I think that's kind of one of the messages of the book, is that if you're starting from a place that's like objectively kind of or subjectively bad,
Right.
anything you do from there is just
Don't
gravy.
get stuck on
It's just a
perfection. Just
positive.
do
Yeah,
what you can to incrementally
totally.
improve things. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So for me, it was hydration. And what I learned is that I'm more likely to drink something if it's cold. Once
Mhm.
this becomes room temperature, I'm not going to drink it.
Oh,
And I now keep, I'm not fancy. I don't have any fancy water bottles or anything, but I keep 3 750 ml or liter bottles that I
Mhm.
reuse in my refrigerator. And I grab one in the morning at 6 a.m. as I'm running out the door to Good Morning America studio. I grab one if I'm coming either to my ABC office or my medical practice. And as soon as I get in the door, 12 hours later at 6 p.m., I grab the other one. So for me, that was a system that worked.
Uh-huh.
And so that was the most challenging, but also had a lasting impact. The one that had probably the most impact that year, which also I think you'll be surprised about, was the stretching one.
Mm.
Like, again, when I said, all right, what's my criteria? They have to be cheap, fast, easy, no barrier to entry. Anyone could do them,
Mhm.
and I examined my own practices. I never stretched ever, ever,
I don't
because
either.
I didn't need to. I was like, oh, whatever, I'm flexible. I'm not really that sore. I don't have time for that. And I said, let me just see how I would feel if I stretched for like 2 minutes in the morning before I left my apartment. And so I did. And literally, it changed my posture. Let me tell you, my posture used to be like this. Sometimes it is.
That's me.
Now it's more like this.
I'm not there.
Okay. And by the way, fun fact, if you stand up straight, it makes your belly look flatter.
Okay. Oh, Jack's
2
trying.
perks,
He's doing his
2
best. Wait,
perks
let's
in
see
the
it.
package of one.
Yeah.
So, but I felt better. I felt kind of more limber, little lighter, less aches and pains, and it was so easy. So don't confuse already being flexible with needing to stretch. And stretching, you can do it anywhere. No excuses.
Someone told me to stretch. Go ahead, Thomas. Did I interrupt you?
No, well, I was just going to. Yeah, actually, you did.
Go
I was
on,
going
brother.
to.
All right,
So,
you go
so are
ahead.
there new
All right.
challenges on the horizon? Are you still trying to incorporate things, or
So
I like that.
I mean, first of all, I'm doing the whole year again right now in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm dry this month again. In, for January, what are we on the 10th? um, but
Mm-hmm.
no, I've actually found it really easy, really easy. I feel good. I know that this isn't difficult because I've told everyone and I have to get to February 1st. So
Right. Right.
there's nothing, no mystery there.
Mhm.
Um, I'm going to do all of the challenges again in real time, hopefully with a lot of viewers and followers, et cetera, and friends. Um, but I want to hear from viewers and followers if they have a challenge that I haven't thought of, because
Mm-hmm.
I am always looking for a new challenge of some kind. So I think that there will be more, but I have incorporated the majority of these 12 into most days now because of that year. So it's been amazing for me.
Yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from your book. And one of the things that I realized is I asked myself, what would really make a difference? And for me, it was getting out to reconnect with nature just for 30 to 45 minutes a day, being purposeful about that, not just, oh, I'm headed out to the car, that counts. No,
Right.
it's just like, because my life sometimes feels like, okay, I'm here at the studio, then I'm at home and I'm kind of, closed in, and I just the peacefulness of feeling the sun hitting your skin, feeling the breeze, the aromas and things that are out there, the sound of the
The
birds.
29-degree wind.
Well, it's a little bit. It's not so bad down here in the Atlanta area.
Not today. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. It's
So
not Hawaii.
I just
so that's.
right.
I mean, that was one of the things that I realized is, I thought would be something that I want to do in addition to, a lot of these things that are in your book. I'm thinking I'm just a few inches away from being able to check the box on some of these. So I'm actually thinking about maybe doing like a chart where I'll have
Cool.
Yes,
a number of
I
things,
love that.
because I'm so close on so many. It's just, but I need that reminder. I need, something tangible in front of me. Otherwise, I'll go through the day and like, I didn't do that, or I missed this, and I could have. It wouldn't have taken that much effort. But then there's the
Right.
some that I would consider, okay, this is my primary focus for this month. I want to zero in on this because this is the area that really needs attention.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And, that's exactly what my dream was for people in terms of how they would use the book. It's not meant to be a strict how-to guide. It's meant to be a suggestion. It's been meant to be interesting, spark curiosity, any of those things. And if you start, like, let's say that what we just talked about with hydration, and you say, you know what, I already drink, I'm a man, 3.7 liters is what I'm supposed to be drinking a day. For women, it's 2.7. Let's say you say, I'm already getting 3.7 liters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think of something else. Or say, well, actually, how much am I getting? And really measure it. I thought I was getting perfect amount of sleep until I did the sleep challenge month,
Right.
and I actually tracked my sleep, and I thought, oh, actually, it's not as good as I thought. And I'll tell you on this angle, as Dr. Jennifer Ashton, when I ask a patient to tell me about their behaviors, exercise, sleep, smoking, drinking, drug use, sex, you name it, everyone under or overestimates their behavior, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Wow.
in science we have objective observers to study things. So I love what you said, Thomas, about how, for you, it was getting in touch with nature. Like, that's how it should be used.
Absolutely.
But you took the concept and you said, I need to chart it, or I need to follow it. And that's what the self-care solution's about.
And I love that too, Thomas. And here's one for you, Jen. People could start actually journaling from this. You could actually.
Yeah, I was going to ask you where's my journal.
You could do the self-care journal. That's a trend now. Every public speaker out there now has.
You must be psychic, cosmic, or
Let's
just
do
plain
it.
old brilliant? But that's what the publisher already wants me to do
Absolutely.
one. And I
You
said,
need
are
it.
you kidding?
You
I
need-
haven't even gotten this book out
Yep.
yet.
I'll help
But
you
yeah,
with it.
you're
No,
100% awesome. Good.
I
absolutely.
agree. I had the same thought.
The self-care solution journal, because every speaker out there, from Brendan Boucher, I mean, everyone has their own journal now. We don't have our own journal.
They do?
Yeah.
Wait, really? I'm
yeah.
behind?
I'll bring
Wow.
you one. I'll bring you their journal so you can see it. You can have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got
All
one of
right.
their journals, and I'm looking at it. It's like, well, theirs is a little overkill because you'd spend all day long filling out this journal. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tom-
Okay.
Thomas, great idea.
So I had a question about the water too, because I did notice you mentioned the requirements: 3.7 liters for guys, 2.7 for women. Can you shed some light on what accounts for that? Why do men require more water?
So men are usually bigger, number one.
Okay.
That's, just like we hear that men metabolize alcohol differently. Most of the difference in water requirements, and these are average estimates, by the way, these are not written in stone, but this is, the National Academy of Sciences, the Institute of Medicine, this is what they recommend, which is a general kind of recommendation, but it's largely size dependent and it's activity dependent, right? Someone who's sedentary, is not going to need as much water as someone who's active. And we have to remember that most of our water comes in the form of beverages, but some comes through food. And most of our loss of water, is occurring not just in the form of urine, which is like what we generally think, and not just sweat, but breathing.
Sure.
We call those in medicine insensible losses of water, but that happens. So, it's a rough amount to be aware of. And when you think of the importance of water and hydration on how our body runs, it literally is analogous to gas in the tank of a car or boat or plane. From head to toe, it affects us. And so I honestly don't know how I was functioning on so little. It was horrible.
Wow. Well, Jen, I wanted to thank you. I know you got a hard stop coming up here, and I wanted to have a minute with you after this. So
Sure.
I want to thank you. It's been amazing. The comments, always, you can see them on social media that are coming in. Interesting, inspiring, amazing.
Oh.
So yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So great.
Well, this is so exciting for me, Jack, to be with you and Thomas and to be on your show. And I just have nothing but mad respect and props for you and
I appreciate
your
it.
message and your communication. And I can already tell from what you're sharing with me about your listeners that you've got an incredibly passionate and informed following.
Absolutely.
And I just wish us all good health, self-care, happiness, fun, laughter, all good things this year and always. Yes.
Absolutely. There it is. There is a link. You can go to jenniferashtonmd.com and you can order this, or you can go to Amazon. It is the #1 trending book at Amazon, by the way. Amazon in Europe, you can do the same thing as well. I did check on that. If you're in the UK and Germany and France, I know that you can go to amazon.fr.uk, and I can't remember what the other one is, but you can go there and order the book as well. Please do it. It's an absolutely amazing book.
It's worth a read and a reread.
Definitely. And
because I'm
thanks,
just
guys.
yeah. I mean, I'm going through it the first time, and I'm thinking, as I do these challenges, I'm going to be reading them again.
Absolutely. And I'll be in touch with the publisher about royalties on the journal. No, I'm kidding.
You betcha.
So
Awesome.
no, it's all good. So absolutely, thank you so very, very much. And I will speak to you after we're off. And
Awesome. Nice talking to you, Jack, always.
Absolutely. Thank you. Everybody, normally this is where I drop the sponsors and everything, but we're not doing that in the first show of the year. It's just not happening. Contracts need to be renewed. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Hint, hint.
Absolutely. But if you want to hear this show or all the other previous shows, you can go to realtalkshow.com. This show will be up as far as the video goes and the podcast. If you want to hear the podcast, you can hear it on any platform that podcast is on. iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Google Podcast, Player FM, TuneIn, and every single one of them. They'll be up usually within half an hour. It's usually how they pull them. If you want to know where I'm going to be, how to book me for your speaking stuff, you go to jackmcadoo.com, MCADOO.com. If you have any questions on the show, info@jjmmediagroup.com. All the good stuff comes to me. The bad goes to Thomas. He's keeping it real. No, I'm kidding. I think that's it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. We don't have to quit if you don't
we're
want
quitting,
to.
brother. I'm done. I got to go hydrate and laugh. Anyway, thank you, Jen.
Cheers.
Dr. Jennifer Ashton, I appreciate it. Thank you, Thomas, and to everybody, peace and aloha. Take care, everybody.